Yes, hello. So today we have the last interview of this round. Since everyone else has played so little games, we don't really get those interviews now. So Hakur is today. Say something about yourself.
About myself as a person or my character?
Character and, well, who you
My
are and
character.
what character you play, basically.
Okay. Yeah. My online nickname is Whitehorse. My character is called Hak'ur. The race is half elf. The other half don't ask yet. He's a mystic star shaman character, and also associated with the Dream Prophet team. So that's the information that is currently public about this character.
Yeah.
Anything else you wish to know?
Not now. Let's go with the questions.
I mean, is kind. Oh yeah, I can still say yeah. The character is almost 2 meters tall. So it's the biggest of the characters.
So far.
And so far from the current team, yes. And his alignment is chaotic and neutral. No. So he tries to be. He tends to be to the gentle side, but there's a dark side that has still not been touched for that character.
Okay, let's start with the questions that we have put on everyone. What is your first impression of other players that or other characters that are in your group?
He still is to bond with the team that he is in. On that sense, he doesn't feel liked by anybody of the team right now. But I see it. He doesn't feel being liked or appreciated by anybody in the team until now, and this feeling is almost mutual until now, with tiny exceptions here and there.
Yeah.
So from the character that Hak'ur feels neutral about is Atalos. He has no negative or positive approach of it, which I guess in a way it's the most positive there is. You know, there's nothing wrong to complain. It's a very quiet persona in there. Even the stealth makes him even more invisible to the team. So you only notice this character during fights, basically. That's when you really see it existing, this character. Likewise, it's very quiet, keeps to himself, doesn't speak much. You know, so it's a bit of a mystery in there. There's some depth to be had. Then we have Sora, Rio, which is a very outgoing character, much more so than Hak'ur, much more outspoken. But a bit manipulative, perhaps. I don't know. Hak'ur follows the lead, although not seeing really anybody in the team as a leader, but he kind of goes along with it, even if he's not totally satisfied. So if Jetrock or Sora say something, or anybody else asks something from him, he will have his own ideas. He might go along with it. He might not go along with it, regardless. But he feels like Sora is kind of the voice of the group, mostly. And when it comes to Jetrock, he tried to connect with this character by joining in the bar scene, rather than turning the back and going to his own room. He decided, no, this is an opportunity to bond. But this didn't really happen in there. And since then, in the other interactions, he felt very disrespected by the character Jetrock. and therefore it's probably the character that he likes the least,
Yeah,
because it's the
they're
character.
pretty much
It's
polar opposites the way you do things.
yes, that, and the fact that there was no trust given to be spoken in a way in which that character speaks with me, and yet Hakur is exercising a lot of self-control not to snap at these provocations.
Yeah.
That's what I can say.
Okay, well, we went through the second question in that.
So it's a short note, but so far Karuni, which is this character name that we freed from a prison, Hakur has a lot of mistrust of this character at the moment.
Yeah.
The other ones are already more or less figured out by Hakur what is their vibe, but that is still not the case with Karuni. Hakur is still trying to figure that one out,
Yeah.
and therefore he suspects them a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Which character do you feel the most bonded with from the group?
None.
Yeah, I guess that.
In the last episode, Sorareo was being helped by Hakur quite a bit, and that I think that is kind of a bonding of,
Yeah,
showing the care that it was a soft side that Hakur showed towards Sora, in which Sora was not biting the hand of the person that was helping her, which would be the case from Jetrock. Whenever Hakur tried to give a helping hand to Jetrock, he just felt that he was being bitten off immediately. So on that sense, I think with Sora it was more bonded. With Attalus, there's no negative, but there's also no positive moments of bonding, so I cannot say there is any bond with Attalus. And Karuni, I felt zero bond.
Who would you turn to in a sticky situation in your group?
Attalus.
Yeah, so far everyone has said the same.
Attalus he seems to be reliable. He's a silent one, but until now I didn't felt any malice on that character. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Okay.
So Attalus.
What is the most memorable moment so far in the story for you as Hakur?
I'm thinking of two situations.
Okay.
If you would have asked the question 1 week before, I would have said the bar scene in which Jetrock left us hanging.
Yes, that has come up with in the other two interviews.
Yeah, but he left us hanging in a quite epic way, so kudos on that. And but I think the last situation. Your bunnies are making
Yeah,
noise,
yeah.
So the last episode, that unknown space station and the things that I've seen happening in there, the big room with all of those creatures being cloned or whatever that is being, and the robot that took this creature to be disintegrated. This was, I think, the most shocking moment for Hakur perspective. From Hakur's perspective, this was the most shocking moment. So on that sense, it's the one that is burning in more. Hakur despises death, even from his own hands. And seeing that situation in which he was ready to act if he thought that something wrong about to happen to that creature, but then it happened so fast he didn't have time to react against it, and and that really hurted him because again he dispenses death, but only if his own life is at stake normally, unless he goes berserk, but that's a different story. But yeah, he's very pro-life and very anti-death, which also justifies why in a certain situation, oh bunny, I love bunnies, why in a certain situation he refused to put a goblin skin on himself, because he just absolutely despises death, and he tries to keep herself to a certain standard.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that it burned in the memory of people.
From Hak'ur perspective, that was very traumatic to see that. He absolutely hated that. He was horrified by what he was seeing in that station.
Yeah. So, do you have any regrets as a character so far? Like some things that you would have wanted to do otherwise?
Killing.
Yeah.
As I just explained.
Yeah.
It felt very uncomfortable to feel pushed into killing, because and that's one of the things that makes it hard to connect with the rest of the team, is they feel to Hak'ur very trigger happy. Kill first, figure it out later. Hak'ur is quite the opposite approach. He wants to figure things out before taking a path that you cannot return from. Yeah, the killing. If he could, there was a situation in which there was a vote to save a character rather than killing it. Hak'ur immediately, of course, voted to keep the character alive, but alas, that was still not a winning vote, and the character was killed anyway. So if Hak'ur could, he will try to knock out the enemies rather than killing them, making them a non-threat, stunning them, making them unconscious, whatever, but not actually killing, or arresting them and delivering it to authorities that then will judge them.
Yeah. Knowing the characters as they are now, how much would Hak'ur be ready to risk to help these characters in a bind?
To the own standards of Hak'ur, very likely he will always try to provide a helping hand. Only if he thinks the situation is hopeless, then with a lot of weight in his heart, he will step away from it. But to the best of his abilities, if he thinks there's a chance, even if it's smaller, even if it's a risk, he is still going to most likely take that chance.
Yeah.
To help.
Is Hak'ur envious of anyone in the party for a skill they have, or how they process things, or anyway?
Yeah, Jetrock, and maybe Atalus as well. Jetrock with his proficiency with technology and computers, and with Atalus his capacity to glow, go invisible.
Yeah, stealthy man.
Stealthy, yeah. It's a skill that it's the two skills that Hak'ur most likely would like to add to his own arsenal.
Yeah. What is the biggest annoyance that Hak'ur feels in the group or in any way? What would annoy him the most?
The constant disrespect from Jetrock is constantly really, really testing his patience. It's really exercising that self-control skill from Hak'ur. That's for sure. And apart from that, is that feeling this rushed into action by either having to shoot in a rushed way or having to leave the room in a rushed way because already is left behind. That's I think the higher annoyances that Hak'ur as a character also feels. Yeah.
Okay, what is the most valued thing for, or most important or valued thing for Hak'ur?
The most valuable things that Hakur has are not physical. They are concepts, ideas, and those are things that so he's definitely pro-life with very few exceptions, and he tries to keep himself with honor, kind of a kind of royalty almost level of standard, and honor and loyal. That's the word, loyal. So it's like honor, loyalty, a certain elegance, pro-life. That trying to get along with the creatures, with people, with multiple civilizations of multiple parts of the universe.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay. Do you see anyone as a rival in the group yet? Like, do you think there would be a rivalry in the group? Or does Hak'ur have a rivalry against someone?
I don't think so. The closest thing I can imagine is kind of a fun rivalry. I cannot say the word, sorry.
Rivalry, yeah.
Yeah, my English is top notch today. I think with Sora, who can dispense the best amount of exhaustions or something like this, because I feel there's a little competition of
about hitting
who can
which one can hit the most magics.
Actually being able to apply that magic, it's been a challenge so far for both of us actually. So being able to fatigue, that's the name of the skill I was looking now. Being able to do fatigue, so that's the only competition that I have, and it's the only character beyond myself that can do this. So yeah, there's a little bit of overlap of those two characters' skills, which could I can see that could create which I could see that could create a little bit of low burn competition, but not real rival on that sense. It's more like friendly competition, friendly rival.
Well, we touched on the social and political stance, like you're pro-life and try to be peaceful and stuff.
I mean, character is chaotic, neutral, but with a certain tilt towards being on the good side rather than tilting towards the negative or bad side. But definitely in the past, and maybe hopefully hopefully not in the future, this character can touch to a little bit of it is on dark side.
What is the thing your character has the most like a soft spot for?
Defenseless creatures, defenseless people.
Yeah.
And this was already visible in the last episode.
What do you see in the future of your character? Like, do you think the character will bond more with the group? Do you think he will be more reactionary, or will he keep on the cautious side, or?
There will always be a cautious side to Hak'ur. That's part of his character. But hopefully, I mean, Hak'ur is mostly a lone wolf, but that applies also to the rest of the group, which makes it hard for them to actually rely on each other or connect with each other at that level. So that makes it harder, and not impossible though. But I think Hak'ur is a bit of a mirror in there. So if Hak'ur grows into the perspective of some character, this is going to be then reflected back from Hak'ur towards that character. He does value though being in the group, that the chances of survivability are better, and so on. But he has learned not to depend on others, because every time he did so, he ended up a bit regretting it.
Yeah, world of Starfinder is not kind to any halves.
Exactly. Exactly. It always had a little bit of outsider. He always felt outsider. So the fact that the other ones in the group don't really connect to Hak'ur is no new terrain for Hak'ur. So he's okay with it.
No.
He's not necessarily there to make friends with those particular people. He has his own agenda.
Yeah. Okay, for the last question to Hakur. Where would you say you feel the most at home or safe?
Peaceful settings. Could be in front of a star, you know, inside a starship, facing a star and just having the serenity of it. Or being on the surface of a planet in the wild, also with a serene, peaceful, calm environment. That's I think where Hak'ur feels more in tune with life and with the universe.